summertime Christmas Eve from Curated LLC. This is an all-natural, amazing smelling, relaxing, and healing candles. They are a Cleveland-based candle company, and they work with a licensed aromatherapist to create all-natural, amazing smelling candles, which are specifically designed not to only fill our space with wonderful aromas, but also to promote relaxation throughout the olfactory system. They use recycled liquor and wine bottles as the vessel, and if that's not your thing, they also have other vessels as well. Make sure you give their page a follow, check them out. I am obsessed with how much of my space. I'll go ahead and show you the area where I put it. I put it in this area, and it made it smell in the whole entire house. So here's my living room, and I put it in here, and you can smell it literally all the way in my kitchen.
All right. What up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Curated Topics, brought to you by Curated Scents LLC. All right, so how's everybody's Christmas? I hope everybody had a great holiday. Hope you all had a good Christmas. I said I was going to put out a video on Friday. I did not get a chance to. I actually had a busier day than I thought I would on Friday. I took the day off from work, but I ended up doing some other things. Had to get some things rolling. Had to go to the gym. Had to get that Christmas food up off of me, if you know what I'm saying. Pause. I hope you all had a great Christmas. Hey, let me know what you all did for Christmas. Drop it in the comments. Did you get anything good? Did you do anything? Did you spend any time with family? I hope you did all of the above. I hope everybody had a great Christmas, and I hope you all got some good stuff. Let's start it off how we always do. We got candle of the evening. This is in a rabbit hole sucrole bottle. I don't know if I said that right. I took French way back when in like middle school. I don't know if I said it right, but this is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished in maple brulee casks. If you're going to drink, please drink responsibly. Check us out at curatedsentsllc.com. What we got in here today? We always got to give them the smell test, but hold on. Dang, that smells so good. They all smell good, but that one, this is one of the holiday scents. It is called Spice Cranberry, and this holiday scent is very festive and cozy with blending of tart, juicy, and semi-sweet cranberry aromas with spicy notes like clove, cinnamon, ginger, and subtle musky aromas from some cedar wood. So if this interests you at all, check us out at curatedsentsllc.com. Our winter and holiday sale has ended as of December 21st, but we are still making candles. I'm still working, so hit us up, check us out, look at our scents online, and if you are a returning customer, ask me about the secret menu. I still have some holiday scents left, so if you still want your base to smell like the holidays during this winter season, I still do have some of those scents available, and I am available in the background, so you can hit me up and ask me what I have left. Check us out. I promise they will not disappoint. How did y'all like that video at the beginning? I told you we out here working, we getting things out to people, and we are getting some really good reviews. So make sure you check us out. You heard it from them, not just me. All right, so let's get started with the show. All right. So as y'all can see, I threw a little jacket on because what we're going to talk about this evening is something that's very important. I'm skipping the sports for right now. I'm going to do that at the end of the show. But what I want to talk about tonight for the motivational part, I want to talk about the fact that your image matters. And this is part of the networking series. Your image matters. Now, how does your image matter? Well, your image sets the tone for how people are going to treat you. People formulate their opinions about you very quickly. Studies have shown that people actually formulate an opinion about who you are as a person within the first 7 seconds of seeing you, or within that first 7 seconds of them meeting you. And that's before you even have a chance to really say anything of substance to them. In 7 seconds, you cannot portray who you are, what your character is, what your morals are, and what kind of intelligence you have. you can't do that just through words. You have to be able to convey those messages via your appearance and via your image. I'm going to talk about a few examples. So, like I said, a lot of times people formulate their opinions about you within the first 7 seconds of meeting you. And I actually think it's faster than that. I actually think some people formulate their opinions about people within a split second. They see you, and then their initial reaction is kind of how they feel about you, unless they actually spend the time to get to know you. I'll use an example. When you connect eyes with a woman when you're out and, this is somebody you're looking to approach. As a guy, when you make that connection, you see what their reaction is within probably the first 2 seconds. To be honest, let's say you're in the bar or something like that. If you're gonna drink responsibly. But if you're in the bar and you're having a good time, you're out with your friends, but you see a little young lady who you wanna maybe meet, who you wanna approach or you wanna talk to. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna know how she feels about you. Well, let me take that back. When you all connect eyes, when you lock eyes with a girl, right? You're probably going to see her reaction to you within those first few seconds. And that's going to let you know, is it cool to approach this woman and talk to her? Or is it not? A lot of women, when they look at you, they're going to formulate their opinion of you very quickly. First 2-3 seconds. And they will tell you this. They will tell you, oh, when I first saw you, I thought this. Now, after they get to know you, if you are able to approach them, talk to them, have conversation with them, their opinion might change a little bit or it might grow, but they're going to tell you what their initial reaction was. They're going to tell you, oh, when I first saw you, I thought you was corny, or I thought this, I thought that. And then as you get to know them, things might change. But the image you portray of yourself, the image that you put out there to the world, that's what's really going to matter. That's where people formulate their opinions about who you are and what you're all about. Now, I'm going to use myself for an example. This was back in college, and I'm thinking of this as I'm recording, but a time for me where it went wrong. I was out, we were all hanging out at the bar in college. I think it was one of our party weekends at school, and we're all hanging out. I see this girl at the bar. I'm like, oh, she kind of cute. She kind of nice. I look at her. I'm like, all right. And as I'm thinking I want to approach her, she saw that I noticed her, right? And so she looks at me and she gave me the up and down look, the one of those. And she was just like, mm-mm. And I was like, dang, like, okay, well, I recognize I'm not everybody's cup of tea. That's cool. I wasn't mad, but that is an example of, okay, she looked me up and down, 2-3 seconds. Nope. Now I've had instances where it's gone right. I've been in different places and things like that where, I've had some ladies look me up and down and then they come and introduce themselves. So this is an example of the way you are portrayed or the way that somebody intakes your appearance and your image. That is how they formulate their opinion about you, and they do it very quickly. I'm going to use another example. When I was at the Power of Networking conference, or experience, excuse me. It's known as an experience. But when I was at the Power of Networking experience, and I'm going to use my meeting with Dr. Leith again. I met Dr. Leith the day before the technical first day of the conference, and I wasn't dressed all the way up because, it was just a registration day, but I had on a nice collared shirt. I had on a nice pair of jeans, and I had on some dress shoes. And, as I was standing there, he came up and asked me some questions as if I belonged there, as if I belonged with the group. And I told him like, hey, I don't really know because I'm not a part of the group. I'm a part of the experience, but from the audience side, just like he was. And he said, oh, well, you was over here standing put together and all of that. I thought you might have been, part of the working group with the experience. Oh, nope, no, I'm just here just to register just like you. But that speaks to how he saw me and my image. I wasn't looking bad or anything like that, but I actually looked like I knew what was going on, even though I didn't. I had my head up. I was standing there with a smile, all those sorts of things. And it attracted him over to me to ask me questions. Now, I'll take that versus the first day of the conference when I ran into Dr. Leaf. This day, I had on a suit. I had on a black suit, nice black, and it was kind of like a black and silver tie, paisley print. Had on the white button down, cuff links, the whole nine. I was looking pretty good. And once again, he came up to me. I saw him and I said, "Hey, nice to see you again." He said, "Hey, looking sharp there, brother." That was the first thing he said. That just goes to speak, hey, your image matters, but your image is what people are going to start with. That's the first thing they're going to notice. How are you put together? How are you carrying yourself? How are you presenting yourself? So we want to look our best, especially when we are in situations where we're trying to do things like network. We're trying to do things like make a sale of our product or whatever it is that you are trying to do. If you're in a place where you need to be at your best, you want to look your best, right? So that's what makes it so important. Now, in that first day at the conference, I went with a more conservative look, a more serious look. And I'm here about my business and things like that because I didn't really know what to expect out of the experience. It was my first time there. And I wanted people to take me seriously. I wanted to look like I meant business, and I did. But the part of that was, or the best part of that was, one, everybody had a suit on. Everybody had a suit on. I love that about the experience because it showed that everybody was there for pretty much similar goal. And it's because they all took it very seriously. Now, I'm not saying that the people who didn't have suits on weren't taking it seriously, because I don't think that at all. What I am saying is, though, there was a standard of how the people wanted to dress. There wasn't a formal dress code, but there was a standard that was understood and it was set. And so by us all wearing suits, by us all dressing up and presenting ourselves in that way, everybody you looked at, you knew that they meant business. Everybody you looked at, you knew that they were there for productivity. It made approaching them a lot easier. It made networking a lot easier. And not only that, but you can drop some compliments. That can be your opening. "Hey man, I like how you dressed up today. You looking sharp." That's what somebody said to me. And that was on day one. So it was a nice way to break the ice. It was a nice way to start an introduction into talking to some people, because you can then lead that into, what do you do? Tell me about yourself. What do you have going on? Those are the sorts of things where image can lead to the next steps that you need to take when it comes to networking. So for day 2 of the conference, I threw on the power suit. I had on a navy blue suit. Might have been a little bit lighter than navy, but it was a blue suit. But this time I went with a little bit more of a fun vibe in terms of the tie. I had on a pink tie, and it was pink paisley tie. Not where the pattern was very overwhelmingly paisley. It just had a couple of the paisley elements. But once again, as I'm rolling throughout the conference in that day, I'm getting all sorts of compliments. "Oh, I like your suit." I had on some champagne shoes, some champagne brown dress shoes, but they kind of ombre and they like fade from one shade to another. And then so I'm getting compliments on the shoes that I'm wearing. If you know me, you know I love shoes, but I'm getting compliments on those. I'm getting compliments on the blue suit. I'm getting compliments on the tie. I actually used it to do network with somebody. I met somebody as I was standing and waiting to have my meeting with Dr. Tiana Von Johnson. There was somebody else who was standing over there, and I think they were familiar with each other. I don't really know, but he's standing there and he was talking about some things that align with what I'm doing, and I'm listening. And, after he was done speaking to who he was speaking to, I introduced myself. But the way I introduced myself, I said, "Hey, brother, I like your tie." He had a nice tie on. It was cool. He had on he did like a black and red vibe, and his tie was red and it was paisley as well, but it was a cool tie. So I used that to help me make my introduction. So I said, "Hey man, I like that tie." He said, "Oh, I like yours." Boom, we shake hands. "My name is Brian. What's your name?" And that's how we met. And then we started talking. "Okay, what is it that you do?" "All right, cool. What is it that you do?" Boom, boom, boom. The fact that we were both dressed up, the fact that we both had on some good ties, we were able to exchange compliments, but we did that because we set the standard for our image. We came dressed up. We came looking good. Pause. We set the standard with our image. When you go to a job interview or something like that, you want to make sure that your image is good. That's the very first part of the first impression. Whenever I go to a job interview, I'm rolling up in a suit. Nothing less. I'm rolling up in a suit, tie, all of that. I had a job interview over the summer, and it was for a different position at the job that I'm at. And I had already been there. And I still rolled up in a suit. I did that because, hey, I want them to know I'm serious about taking this position. I'm serious about being here. I'm serious about this whole process. And they thanked me for taking it seriously. They said, we appreciate the fact that you threw a suit on. You didn't have to do that. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I didn't. Now, I don't even remember if I said that to them, but in my brain, I'm like, yes, I did. What are you talking about? Yes, I did. Of course I'm going to wear a suit. You asked me to come in and interview. That means suited up. Suited up. I used to do a thing, and I think I'm going to get back to this. I've been slacking a little bit, but shout out to KS. I used to do suit Saturdays, and it got to a point where at my old job, I was kind of scaring them because they used to think that I would go from work, because I wear a suit to work. They used to think I would go from work to other job interviews, and I used it to help me in the long run, and I'll talk about that in a different video. But it's all about setting the standard and mixing it up. You gotta let people know that you can throw a suit on. You gotta let people, hey, yeah, I got a suit in my closet. Yup. And I put it on. Sure did. Well, is something going on? Is everything all right? Do we need, are you looking for a change? Nah, I just felt like getting dressed up. For the fellas, next time you at home and you just chilling and you got your lady or something like that, throw a suit on and just sit on the couch. Just try it. Just throw a suit on, sit on the couch. Don't say nothing about it. Don't tell her you about to do it. Just do it. Just throw a suit on and do everything you normally do on a Saturday. Sit on the couch, watch football, whatever it is. Just throw a suit on and do it. First of all, I guarantee you she's going to ask you some questions. She's going to ask you some questions. What are you doing? What's going on? Why you got a suit on? But then after that, after you hey, I just felt like wearing it. I just felt like getting dressed up. That's why. Watch what happens. Watch the reaction you get. I guarantee you, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish is going to work. I guarantee you. One Saturday, you don't have to do it even every Saturday. Try one Saturday out the month. Do it on a Tuesday. Do it on a Friday. Throw a suit on and see what happens. Just see what happens. Don't say anything. Don't act any different. You might naturally act a little different because I'm not gonna lie. I threw this jacket on. I'm feeling pretty good right now. I got a smile on my face. You know what I'm saying? So Try it though. Put a suit on. Do a suit day. Doesn't have to be suit Saturday. If you like, listen, I ain't putting no suit on Saturday. Saturday is my day. Saturday's for me. I completely understand. I was like, bro, suit Saturday though? Saturday's the day I like to wear sweatpants or something, hoodie, t-shirt. Do it Friday, do it Thursday. Pick a day and throw a suit on. Go throughout your normal day and see the response that you get from the world. Just do it as an experiment and see what happens. And let me know in the comments what the result was. But anyway, that's how you want to portray you want to portray yourself in your best light. Your image matters. But image isn't just about the clothes that you wear. It's also about how you present yourself. So, how do you stand? Do you stand with good posture? Are your shoulders up, head held high? Now, if you like me, I'm tall, so I'm always, not always, but 90% of the time, I'm towering over somebody. Posture is not my greatest strength. It is not. And I've been getting better at it. I've been doing some little exercises to help me stand up a little straighter, stand up a little taller. But posture is something that is very important because it portrays your confidence. It portrays security as well. And it also portrays a level of firmness, not necessarily toughness, but you are firm and secure in who you are. I'm gonna say pause again. How do you look when you're standing there, when you're somewhere and you're just existing? How do you look? Do you have a smile on your face, or do you kind of have that neutral resting mad face or serious face? Now, once again, I'm gonna use me as an example. When I am talking to people, when I am engaged with people, I try my best to smile a lot because I've been through some different things where, I know that my neutral face, I have a resting mad face. I know that I do. I know that I can sometimes have that serious face. So when I'm engaging with people, I want to come off as positive as possible. So I try to greet them with a smile, and I always try to have like a genuine smile, not the, oh, I'm faking it, get up out my face type of thing, but like their presence is a pleasure. Like I want you to feel like, you're welcome to be here, that sort of thing. So I always try to greet people with a smile. I actually have been trying to smile more on camera. I had a discussion with my voice coach. I think I told you all about that before. I met with a voice coach and he gave me some feedback. One of them was to smile more while I'm talking. He's like, you have a lot of great things to say and you have a great voice, but sometimes it's not portrayed as much because you're not smiling. So I try to have at least a little bit of a happier face when I'm talking. And I don't know if you can see it right now. I'm trying to not like overly smile while I'm talking, but just that little feedback, those types of things are going to help you, especially when it comes to networking, because as I said before, your image is what people are going to see first. When I was at the Power of Networking experience, this was during the registration day. So I'm sitting down because I was still waiting for things to be prepared and stuff like that. And as I'm sitting there, I was on my phone and I probably had a little bit of just resting serious face on. I know I wasn't smiling at this point. And I was over in the sitting area, which wasn't near the registration table, but as people are walking and, getting things together, a couple of people asked me, hey, everything all right over here? You doing okay? This and that. And I quickly went from that neutral face to a smile and said, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm just, following up on some emails and things like that, which is what I was doing. But even with me having that face on, they wanted to, check and make sure everything was all right. Now, in that instance, it wasn't a bad thing, but sometimes your face or your facial expressions sometimes they can repel people away. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a second. But, you want to have that smile on your face. You want to have those expressions that invite people over into your space and invite people over to talk to you, especially when you're trying to do something like network. Nobody wants to talk to the person who's negative or who doesn't even seem like they want to be there, right? So you want to have a positive look on your face. You want to have a smile on your face, and you want it to be genuine, because that is what's going to make you seem welcoming to others. Your image is also about how you carry yourself. Do you walk with confidence? Do you have your head held up high? Do you look positive? Those sorts of things. I'll never forget this story. So I was in ninth grade, and I was at a parent teacher conference, and we were meeting with my English teacher, and she brought up some things, because at this time I was struggling in school. I wasn't doing well, and a lot of it was on me. But in this particular instance, I felt like I was disconnected. I'll use that word. I had a disconnect with my teacher. And I'll never forget this. In the meeting, she sat there, she told my mother, well, Brian's always got like a mean look on his face, and he's so tall, and sometimes he just scares me. And that kind of did something to my confidence at that time, because I've never been somebody who wants to be known as scary. I've always been tall. I've always been big. So I've learned to live with that. And, I've never looked at that as something negative. I've always loved being tall. I've never really been short, so I don't know what that experience is like. But, I never looked at me being tall as a negative thing. I've never wanted to be portrayed as scary. And when she said those things, I forgive her now. But when she said those things, it really bothered me, because I try to be a joy to be around. I might have been going through some things during that time when I was in high school that, I had times where I probably wasn't happy to be there. But I'm overall a pretty happy person. So to hear that coming from her, it kind of did something to my confidence at that time. Now, I've done a lot of work on that. I'm very confident now. But I say that to say, you have to be confident in who you are, but also that has to be part of your image. You have to stand with confidence. And at that time, I probably didn't stand so much with confidence. Like I said, I've had to work on my posture. Posture is something that helps you with your confidence. I've had to work on that. I have had to work on being comfortable with standing tall, standing with my shoulders up. You don't want to be all hunched down like this. You actually put more shade upon yourself. I don't know if you noticed, but you go like this, the light don't even hit you the same way. And I think that was part of what was going on when I was at that age. I'm tall and all of these other things, and here it is. I go around and I'm hunched over and stuff like that. Don't nobody want to talk to the guy who's hunched over. And that's just me being honest about it. When you learn to stand up and stand tall and stand with confidence, it's more inviting to others. People want to talk to the tall, towering guy, but they don't want to feel like they gotta walk through darkness just to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? So you want to stand tall. Now, I'm gonna talk about a time when I was actually complimented. So at my previous job, this was after I started my journey at the gym, and even I noticed it. I was like, man, did I grow? I'm standing up taller. My boss actually came up to me and she said, I don't know what you've been doing, but I can tell that you're more confident. You're standing. She's like, did you grow? She's like, you standing a lot taller. You're walking with more confidence, and whatever it is that you're doing, I like it, and keep it up. This was after a suit Saturday, by the way, but also it was one of those things where it's like, okay, hey, I've been in the gym, I'm working, super pause. I'm working those muscles, and I'm standing up a little bit more. I'm standing taller. I'm walking with more confidence because I feel better about myself. And it wasn't like I wasn't confident in myself. I've been a confident person, but you feel more confident when you feel better. It's just natural. And so getting that compliment from her, they were more inclined to, give me the raises I was asking for, give me the results that I wanted out of the job, because they could see that confidence that I was exuding. What is the aura that you walk around with? And when I say aura, I don't mean this new age way that people talk about aura. Oh, he got all the aura. No, aura is actually the energy that surrounds you as you move. And that can be positive or negative. So what is the aura that you walk around with? That is also a part of your image. Now, that is a part that is not always necessarily seen, or your body language influences your aura. Your body language can influence the energy that you put out there. So, is your aura attractive? Do you have that positive, warm, and inviting energy? Do people want to come and talk to you? Networking isn't always about you going out and talking to people, but people coming and talking to you as well. Do people want to come and talk to you? When I was at the Power of Networking experience, of course, there was times where I had to put myself out there, but because of my image, because of how I portrayed myself, because of the confidence that I walked with, because of, me standing tall, because of my aura, there were a number of people who approached me. And I would also throw in that security and genuine aspect in there as well. Are you a genuine person? See, people will gravitate towards you when they are attracted to your genuine self. People are going to take notice of what it is that you're doing, especially when you're out in public amongst a large group of people. People are going to want to know if you're talking to a bunch of people and having good experiences with people. People are going to want to come and talk to you. It's going to make a crowd formulate because, okay, he successfully talked to one person. He successfully talked to two people. He is successfully talking to an entire table of people. Well, other people are going to take notice. The table next to that is going to notice you. When you're able to work the room, the room notices. That's when your genuine self comes into play. Do you have a genuine self that people are attracted to? When people see that you're having a good time, or, they see that you are a place where a good time can be had, a good time is possible around you, they're going to want to join in. So that's that attractive energy that I'm talking about. But it comes from you being your genuine self, and it also comes from you exuding confidence and security. You want to be a place of positivity and warmth. That's one of the best compliments I've ever gotten in my life. Brian, you just so inviting. Like your energy is just so positive and warm. That is one of the greatest compliments I've ever gotten, because it is how I aspire to be. I don't want to come off as scary to people and all of that. Now, I don't want you to just think that I'm some pushover, because I'm not. But at the same time, I want people to engage with me. I want people to feel welcome to come and talk to me. Aside from that positive energy, you have to think about it. Does your energy repel people? Which means, is your aura negative? Now, we all have times where our aura is probably negative. And as I said before, your body language and how you're feeling translates into your aura. And that goes into my next point. People can feel your emotional state. So it's very important to have control over your emotions because people can feel that energy. The outside world can feel that energy, and you don't want to repel people because of your temporary emotional state. That can cost you opportunities. And you don't want that to be someone's first impression upon you, because a lot of the times people's first impression of you is going to last for quite some time. People remember what their first impression of you is almost all the time. Even when you change their mind, they still remember what their first impression of you was. So you want to make sure that your energy is attractive and positive. As I said before, you want to be at your best. So you need to portray your best. And that's your image as well as your aura and who you are. Now, as I was saying before, people can feel your emotional state, whether that's happy, sad, mad, angry, ecstatic, all those sorts of things. I'm going to use myself for an example. And this was actually fairly recently. So I had some things going on where I had to have some paperwork done, and I had to have it in by a certain time. And I was working with someone who they had promised me, okay, we've done your part. We're gonna get this stuff done so that it can be turned in on time. And they assured me that they would have it done. Right? So I did all the steps that I needed to do. I've talked about this before. The fortune is in the follow-up. I should have followed up better with them to make sure that they got their part done. My due date came, and I needed to have this stuff turned in, and they were supposed to turn it in, and they didn't. And I was very upset about it. I was heated. And it was to the point where I had to show up to their job. I had to pop up on them. And as I'm there, waiting, I know that the room can feel my energy. One, because they kept saying it. They're like, hey, everything's gonna be all right. Calm down. We're getting it. We're getting your paperwork done. We're working on it now. We're gonna make sure everything is all right. Because they could feel that I was not playing any games. Now, in my actions, I was cool. I was fairly calm. I was as calm as I could be. And I was controlling my emotional state. I didn't come in there yelling. I didn't come in there, super angry, no cussing or anything like that. But they could feel my aura. And they could feel how serious I was when it came down to resolving this issue, because once again, I was under a timetable and this wasn't something I could play around with. I say all that to say, I knew that not just the room, the entire building could feel this energy. It was people coming out from all types of doors. What's going on? Because they could feel it. I was pissed. I was good and pissed. And I, like I said before, I kept it calm and I kept my emotions under control. But people could still feel my aura. And I say that because it matters. It matters. I would say it's half your image because it's about what people can see. But it's also about the energy around you that people can feel. Now, I've also had times where I've been very happy, and people can feel that as well. As I said before, one of the greatest compliments I ever got was, Brian, you're just a very positive guy. You're very warm and inviting. And that is how a lot of relationships formulate. And when you're trying to network, when you're trying to put yourself out there, and when you're trying to meet new people, having that sort of aura, having that sort of image about yourself is very important. Very important. Take all these tips with you. Make sure that you are portraying yourself. Make sure you're portraying yourself at your best. Try a suit Saturday. I guarantee you, try a suit Saturday. I really want you guys to try that and let me know how it goes. Ladies too, try a suit Saturday. If you got a suit at home, throw it on, go throughout your day and see what happens. But I think especially in our community, and y'all know what I'm talking about when I say our community, I think that it is very important that we not only clean up our image, but sustain our image at its best. And I like how some things have started. The BET Awards. The BET Awards start having a dress code. They wanted people to dress up nicely. And I think that's a good idea. Why not? Not saying that the way they were dressed before is bad, but if you look at some of these other award shows, let's say the Oscars or the Grammys, it is that time where fashion comes into play. It is that time where everybody is wearing a suit, everybody's wearing a dress, everybody is dressed up to the best, and I'll go as far as to say they are dressed to impress. But we should be able to do that in our community as well, and I liked that the BET Awards was doing that as well. You're at an award show, so dress like you're at an award show. Put that suit on. Don't be afraid. Oh, well, suits ain't comfortable. Oh, well, you're not here to be comfortable. You're here to accomplish a goal. And if looking your best can help you do that, then why not do it? Oh, you're going to wear a suit for 2-3 hours. Whoop-de-doo. Another example, the Jeezy concert where Jeezy is performing with an orchestra. And part of the dress code for that is formal wear. I love that idea. Get dressed up, present yourself in the best light. You never know, you might meet somebody at the concert. You might meet somebody at the concert. You never know when you're going to run into someone who can change your life. You never know when you're going to meet somebody who can help put you on the right path or extend your network or any of that. So why not be dressed to impress? Why not have your image looking good? Now, I know there's all times where we want to be comfortable and all of that. I am with you on that because I love to be comfortable. But when it comes time to dressing how I need to dress, when I'm dressing for the occasion, I make sure I got me a suit on. I like this whole quarter zip trend that's been starting. Now, I've been had quarter zips. Been had them. They're actually not my favorite. They're not my favorite. I would much rather just have a good old fashioned pullover sweater. But I like the fact that we have young men who, they're throwing this look on, even if it's just to say, hey, I can do it. And I've seen some clips, and I'm going to talk about this in another video as well. I'm probably going to do this as part of a live reaction video. But I've seen some video clips where there have been some people kind of talking down on the guys who are jumping into the quarter zip trend. Oh, well, you trading a shiesty mask for a quarter zip. So why can't he? Why is it that we have to be stuck at looking our worst or looking a certain type of way when you have the ability to be versatile and dress nicely? What's wrong with a brother dressing nicely? You want to call him preppy. So there's a goal that he is trying to accomplish. There's an image that he wants to portray. So what's the issue? Do we need to be just stuck in one box? We need to recognize, and this is for my community. We need to recognize that dressing up ain't a bad thing. Looking your best is not a bad thing. A lot of the times we glorify the quote unquote thug look because, we gotta be hard. Okay. There is nothing more gangster than putting on a suit. Excuse me, YouTube. But there is nothing more gangster than putting on a suit. If you watch any of the old gangster movies, the top dogs had on suits all the time. It portrayed that they meant business. El Jefe wore a suit. The boss wore a suit. It was the underlings. It was the corner boys. It was all of them who had on the baggy jeans and the white tees. And the people who wanted to be like those gangsters, the people who wanted to be like the real G's and all of that, they wanted to be like the guy who had the suit on. They wanted to be like the guy who walked around with the mink. They wanted to be like the guy who had the top hat, who had the nice dress shoes and all of that. They didn't want to be like the corner boys. The corner boys is just what everybody sees. The real G's, the real bosses, the real movers and shakers, they had on the suits because what? They wanted to look the part. They wanted to be seen as legit. So what's the problem with cleaning up your image? You want to be taken seriously, you got to look serious. You got to look like you are about your business. And that's why I did this for today, for this episode. This is why I got this jacket on right now. I can't be sitting here talking about cleaning up your image. I can't be sitting here talking about the importance of image and I don't have something nice on myself. That's the whole point. And that's what we need to recognize as a community. There is no reason we should be putting anybody down because they want to dress nicely, because they want to look their best. Absolutely not. And I challenge you, especially those in my community, to give it a try. Throw a suit on. See what happens. See how people's perspective of you changes. And tell me how you feel. Drop it in the comments. Let me know how you feel. I bet you're going to feel a little bit better. All right. I know I talked on and on and on, and I know that was a long segment, but we're going to talk about some sport. 2 days ago, we had the Christmas Day games, and in my live, I talked about the Cavs game, and I talked about it was the Cavs versus the Knicks, and I talked about the Spurs versus the Thunder game. Now, I'm not going to talk about the Golden State game because I actually took a nap during part of that, and during the second part, I did my live. So I actually didn't watch that game. I think Golden State won. Steph Curry had like 20 points. Shout out to them. He is still balling. When I started the game, he was struggling, but he is still producing. Shout out to Steph Curry. I think he's 36, 37, so he's getting up there. But he is still performing. Now, the game I really want to talk about was the Nuggets versus Timberwolves game. I watched that game, and to be honest with you, this is probably one of the greatest Christmas Day games ever. Joker had a 50+ point triple double. I think he had 56 or something like that, but a 50 point triple double is crazy. Joker is probably the best basketball player in the league right now. Nobody out there is doing what he does, especially at the center position. It's getting scary, y'all. Joker might go down as like the best center of all time. That is a bold statement to say because there are other players like Shaq, David Robertson, Kareem, Bill Russell, so many others, Wilt, and the numbers that Joker is putting up is absolutely insane. He is balling. And the crazy part is he doesn't do anything, out of pace, or he's never rushing. Everything just looks seamless and easy for him. And he is just producing at an insane level. Now, on the other side of the ball, from the Timberwolves side, Ant-Man had 44 points. And what I liked about his 44 was he called it before the game even started. He said, I'm about to go out there and probably get 30, maybe even 40. And he ended up doing that. And he also had a game-tying three-pointer that was absolutely magnificent. He caught the ball over in the corner, turned around, did a little step back, and the step back was perfect because you saw him curl one side of his foot so that his foot was behind the three-point line before shooting. And I want to say he shot the ball with like maybe 2 seconds left. Like it was truly just a magnificent shot. And usually on Christmas Day, I'm like, all right, forget the late game. Like I'm going to bed or I'm doing something else. I've gotten a little bit tired of watching sports all day. Not with this game. This game, it had a lot of back and forth. It went into overtime. So this game actually woke me up. And I was locked in. I'm paying attention. Jamal Murray had over 30 points. And then, the game went into overtime. And then overtime was crazy. Overtime felt like a fourth quarter. They scored like 50 points in an overtime. That's never happened. That's the most points in overtime history. And I mean, it was just so back and forth. One team had a run, and then the other team answered, and then the other team went on a run. And it didn't even matter. It was just, there was so many back and forth moments and so many lead changes in the game. This game was truly exciting. And as I said before, I normally go to sleep during the last game, because it usually starts at like 10. Ain't nobody trying to stay up to watch that till 1 a.m. Well, I stayed up past the game. I was up till 2 almost, because I'm like, man, this game was crazy. And then especially with the overtime and everything, and I watched every minute of it. So shout out to the NBA, shout out to Anthony Edwards, shout out to Joker, shout out to those two teams, because that game did not disappoint. And it was just a great way to end off the Christmas Day games in the NBA. That was the best Christmas game I've ever seen. Best Christmas game I've ever seen. So that's going to close it out for the sports section. I want to move on to the music. I want to do a special shout out this week. This is a local Cleveland artist. So I'm going to do Artist of the Week today. And her name is Charity Ivana. First of all, shout out to the ladies out here. They are doing something in the music world. But this is somebody who is local to Cleveland. She will be performing tomorrow before the Browns game. She will be at the Browns game doing the national anthem. And I just want to say big ups to her. Give her flowers. If y'all don't know her, please go and check her out. That is Charity Ivana. I'm going to put a picture up so y'all can see. But first of all, great talent from here in Cleveland. She is a great singer, very soft and warm voice. I love some of the music that she has done. I'm gonna put a picture of my favorite album up of hers, and y'all go check her out. Let me know what you think in the comments. As I said before, she will be performing tomorrow at the Browns game before the game. So if you're going to the game, make sure you check her out and just give her some love, y'all. Give her some love. We building each other up over here. So I wanted to throw that out there as a supporter and all of that. So make sure you go and check her out. And we're going to close up for the evening. I want to say thank you to all my listeners. I appreciate all the feedback that I've been getting. Thank you to all my subscribers. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. We building each other up over here. We build it as we fly it. That's men, that's women, everybody. I want everybody to be at their best. And remember, your image does matter. Your image does matter. People gonna see you and they gonna formulate their opinions very quickly. So you want to make sure that you're portraying yourself in the best way. One more reminder, Suit Saturdays. Fellas, Suit Saturdays. Let me know if y'all tried it out. Let me know the results. I want to know. I'm gonna ask again in my live and in my next video. I want to hear about the Suit Saturdays. But as I always say, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace and Happy New Year.